There's certain patterns to break.
And you think choosing bad partners is like a genetic thing?
Everyone swore this was the ultimate fairy tale love story. A whirlwind proposal on the beach, rose petals scattered in the sand, cameras flashing. It looked like a dream straight out of Hollywood. The nonstop kisses, the dramatic pregnancy reveal, the perfect couple vibe plastered all over Instagram. Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian were painted as untouchable. People pointed at them and said, "That's what real happiness looks like." But behind those carefully staged posts and glossy TV clips, another reality was bubbling up, one that wasn't nearly as flawless. Whispers started spreading, rumors of betrayal, family drama that just wouldn't quit, and cracks in that shiny Kardashian picture-perfect image. Underneath the glitz, they weren't just a drummer and a reality star, they were two people tangled in love trying to survive in a world where every fight, every rumor, every old mistake gets dragged back into the spotlight. And let's be real, when that spotlight shines too bright, it burns. For Travis and Kourtney, the glow of passion that once seemed unbreakable started to flicker. Secrets from the past came crawling back. Tense family dynamics exploded.
I feel like I want to cry.
Why?
Just because it's like, it gives me anxiety. And I'm just like, it makes you really like analyze just like where you're at. And then I'm like, sometimes like, what am I doing?
Fans began asking if that famous love was built to last, or if it was all smoke and mirrors. Could it be Travis's messy history creeping up on him? Was it Kourtney's unease about Kim's shadow always looming over her? Or was it the simple fact that living a perfect life for the cameras eventually destroys the real thing? These questions are eating away at their fairy tale, and the cracks are finally visible. When they first linked up, it felt unreal, like fate had pulled two opposite worlds together. For years, they were just neighbors in Calabasas, the wild tattooed rock star and the cool, collected Kardashian sister. But when friendship turned into sparks, the world couldn't look away. And once that fire lit, things moved at lightning speed. Nobody could stop it. Barely a year in, Travis pulled the move of a lifetime. On a golden California beach, drenched in candlelight and roses, he dropped to one knee and popped the question. It was the type of proposal you'd only expect in a blockbuster romance movie. Fans lost their minds, tabloids screamed that Kourtney had finally found her forever, and the moment instantly went viral. People branded it magical, the internet crowned them relationship goals, and for a moment, it really did look like a love story no one could break. But now, behind the curtains, it's a whole different script playing out, and it's way messier than the one they sold to the world. The whirlwind didn't slow down, it exploded into something even bigger. Their families blended in a way nobody thought possible. Kourtney's kids and Travis's children clicked instantly, like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this moment. For once, a Hollywood blended family didn't look forced. It looked natural, effortless, almost too good to be true. Then came the weddings. Yes, weddings. Because one ceremony wasn't enough. From a flashy Vegas night full of neon lights to a jaw-dropping Italian fairy tale with castles, gowns, and endless roses, the couple turned every vow into a headline. Every milestone became a spectacle. Every kiss, every photo, every promise carefully staged to scream, "We're madly in love." Fans bought into the fantasy. And when Kourtney revealed her pregnancy, people said she had never looked happier. Her glow was undeniable, her smile unstoppable. And when their son Rocky arrived in late 2023, the internet crowned them soulmates forever. It looked like the ultimate Hollywood climax, the proof that true love really exists. But fairy tales don't always survive when the cameras turn off. Behind those designer gowns and viral Instagram posts, tiny cracks were already forming. And those cracks would soon shatter into headlines of their own. While the world swooned over their picture-perfect union, Kourtney started feeling something darker. An uneasy truth creeping in. No matter how flawless the outside looked, the past has a way of crawling back in, dragging secrets, rumors, and uncomfortable truths with it. And for Kourtney and Travis, that past wasn't quiet, it screamed. It all circled back to Travis's own words in his tell-all memoir, long before Kourtney was even in the picture. In that book, Travis admitted he once had a crush on none other than Kim Kardashian, Kourtney's younger sister. To outsiders, it might have seemed harmless, just a silly confession. But for Kourtney, it was like reopening a wound that had never fully healed. Because it wasn't just some playful remark in a book. Travis's ex-wife, Shanna Moakler, claimed his obsession with Kim had gone further.
When did the affair with Kim Kardashian start?
It started after the affair with Paris Hilton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here comes Paris again.
Yeah, there comes Paris. And I had already got, like, mind you, in that club, I had gotten Paris Hilton's face, you know, like, well, when Oscar and I were having a conversation, she bippity bopped in, and I was like, aren't you fucking this one here? Aren't you fucking this one? And she was like, I don't even know him. I'm like, yeah, you do. And so she leaves, and, you know, he and I continued arguing, Oscar and I left. So she and I had already had words, like, that night, and then, yeah, I don't know, he and I were arguing, and we kind of, like, separated, but we were still living in the same house.
She accused him of cheating on her with Kim years earlier. Travis denied the affair completely, but he didn't deny Kim's appeal. He openly admitted he found her attractive. And while some fans thought that honesty was refreshing, for Kourtney it was poison. Suddenly, family dinners weren't just warm laughs and bonding. They were filled with tension, cold glances, and questions Kourtney couldn't silence. To make it worse, all of this resurfaced just as she and Travis were trying to build their fresh new life together. Fans couldn't stop speculating. Was Travis's lingering admiration for Kim secretly fueling the long-standing rivalry between the sisters? Was he, without realizing it, pouring gasoline on a fire that had already burned through their family in past seasons of the Kardashians? Even Travis himself seemed exhausted by the non-stop gossip. In one interview, he blasted the rumors as ridiculous, saying he only shared pieces of his past because he wanted to move forward. He insisted nothing ever crossed the line with Kim, just innocent conversations, nothing more. But for Kourtney, hearing her husband admit, even casually, that he once desired her sister wasn't the kind of foundation a marriage thrives on. It cracked the trust, and once trust is shaky, everything feels shaky. And when you mix in old accusations, family loyalty, and the unrelenting Kardashian spotlight, even the most untouchable love story can start looking fragile. Because while the world saw endless roses and fairy tale romance behind closed doors, Kourtney was haunted by a new question. If Travis was bold enough to confess this about Kim, what else could be buried in his past? For years, fans have watched Kourtney and Kim's relationship play out like a roller coaster. Sisters, business partners, rivals, their bond has always been tangled with both love and competition. But Travis's history didn't just stir the pot, it set the kitchen on fire. The Hulu trailers for the Kardashians teased exactly that. Quick cuts, dramatic voiceovers, lingering close-ups, hinting the tension between the sisters wasn't magically solved. Sure, cameras caught moments of reconciliation, like that emotional sit-down where Kourtney and Kim promised to move forward. But behind the glossy editing, the reality was far more twisted. Because sometimes promises on camera don't survive when the spotlight fades. Kourtney herself poured fuel on the fire. On Kim's birthday, she dropped a sweet, heartfelt post that fans rushed to call a peace offering. But just weeks later, jaws dropped because Kourtney showed up for Halloween dressed as none other than Kim. And not just any Kim look, she went full cosplay, recreating Kim's infamous floral Met Gala dress from 2013, complete with the slick ponytail and the fake pregnant belly. Her caption? Freaky Friday. Was it sisterly humor or shade disguised as a costume? Nobody could agree. Some fans saw it as cheeky Kardashian comedy, proof the sisters were finally laughing off their rocky past. Others swore it was a sly reminder. Kourtney hadn't forgotten Travis's old crush on Kim, and she was making sure the world hadn't either. Either way, headlines exploded, and suddenly the spotlight shifted. From Travis and Kourtney's love story to the never-ending Kardashian family drama. Because in this clan, private problems don't stay private. They become part of the show, part of the brand, part of why millions keep watching. And while fans argued over whether the costume was funny or petty, one thing stood out. The tension between Kourtney and Kim wasn't gone. If anything, it was creeping deeper, seeping into Kourtney's marriage. People began asking, was Travis bridging the family divide or tearing it open wider? But truthfully, the cracks weren't just between the sisters. The deepest ones were in the marriage itself. And when you trace it back, the root is clear. Travis's reputation with loyalty has never been clean. Before he ever said I do to Kourtney, Travis carried a shadow he couldn't outrun, a history of cheating, temptation, and messy relationships. Take his stormy marriage to Shanna Moakler. Even as they raised kids together, Travis admitted he wasn't exactly faithful. In interviews, he confessed to stepping out more than once. Shauna even claimed the number of women he'd cheated with hit double digits, 13. Whether exaggerated or not, the label stuck. Travis wasn't built for monogamy, and this wasn't a one-time slip. Even in his first marriage to Melissa Kennedy, he admitted fidelity felt like a battle he couldn't always win.
So was taking his last name a given? Were you positive that was going to happen, or did you think about that for a while?
It was a given. Yeah, it was just a given. It wasn't a thought.
Travis often said he valued freedom, that settling down never came naturally. That kind of blunt honesty might sound refreshing to some, but to someone trying to build a future with him, it's chilling. So when he stood at Kourtney's side, whispering forever promises, skeptics didn't buy it, and deep down, Kourtney couldn't ignore his past either. Love blinds, but when your partner has publicly bragged about breaking vows before, you can't help but wonder, could it happen again? Soon fans started speculating, was Travis truly committed this time, or was he just swept up in the Kardashian machine? Every exaggerated kiss, every handhold, every over-the-top public PDA began to feel less like romance and more like performance. Was this real passion or just another episode in the Travis Barker show? And then came the bigger question, the one that had fans buzzing, who really held the power in this marriage? At first, their constant PDA seemed like proof of fiery love. But now, people were noticing. Something between Kourtney and Travis didn't feel balanced anymore. They couldn't keep their hands off each other at first. Steamy kisses on red carpets, cuddles at concerts, endless Instagram photos that had fans screaming, "relationship goals." It was romantic, even enviable. But over time, that nonstop PDA started raising eyebrows. Those same kisses that once looked spontaneous began to feel staged. Less about passion, more about proving something to the world. Every touch looked like a performance, like they were selling love instead of living it. And under the surface, whispers grew louder. Travis wasn't just Kourtney's partner, he was the one steering the ship. Sources close to the couple claimed Kourtney was slowly reshaping herself to keep him happy. From her wardrobe to her diet, even little lifestyle choices, everything began tilting toward Travis's preferences. Fans once called it a glow-up, but soon it looked less like self-growth and more like surrender. The family noticed too. Insiders said some Kardashians worried Kourtney was losing herself. This wasn't the strong, independent woman they'd known for years. Instead, she seemed to bend into Travis's world, molding herself around his expectations. Kim, in particular, reportedly believed Travis was pulling Kourtney away from the family, isolating her and leading her down a path that wasn't fully her own. Kourtney brushed it off, insisting she was just in love, just evolving. But behind closed doors, the power dynamic was clear. Travis led, Kourtney followed. So while fans were still swooning over their Instagram perfect kisses, those closest to them saw the cracks. What began as a whirlwind romance was morphing into a tug-of-war for control. And the ultimate test wasn't waiting at home, it was waiting on the road under the blinding lights of a world tour. When Travis hit the road with Blink-182, it should have been business as usual. But this time, things were different. Kourtney tagged along, baby Rocky in tow, determined to keep the family together as Travis's career dragged him across the globe. At first glance, it looked sweet, a rock star dad turning tour life into a family adventure. But behind the smiles and fan selfies, tension was brewing. Eyewitnesses noticed it. While Kourtney glowed with excitement, Travis carried a visible edge of irritation. Even in fan photos snapped in Sydney, his body language told another story. Frustration, distance, a man split between two worlds. On stage, he was the wild rock star. Backstage, he was the husband and dad, and the balance wasn't working. Kourtney, meanwhile, doubled down, clinging to Travis, flooding Instagram with affectionate posts, doing everything she could to convince the world their love was unshakable. But instead of pulling him closer, it seemed to push him further away. What was supposed to be a bonding trip turned into a pressure cooker. And then came Valentine's Day, the day built for romance, and it exposed just how fragile things had become. Instead of celebrating together, Travis was in one city, while Kourtney stayed behind in Sydney with the kids. The tabloids pounced, spinning the story into a brutal headline. The couple who couldn't even share the most romantic day of the year. Behind the glossy headlines, the truth was much harsher. Insiders whispered that Kourtney was running on fumes, juggling a newborn, caring for her older kids, fighting off jet lag, and still trying to keep Travis satisfied. Friends said she was totally drained, leaning heavily on her inner circle just to survive each day. What fans had once called a fairy tale family tour was crumbling into stress, distance, and disappointment. And if the physical separation wasn't enough, the emotional gap was impossible to ignore. Because once the tour wrapped and the family returned home, a shocking reality came into focus. One that made fans question whether Travis and Kourtney were really living like a married couple at all. For most newlyweds, the next step is obvious. Move under one roof. But for Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, things didn't follow the usual script. Despite the extravagant weddings, the blended families, and even welcoming a new baby, they still weren't living together full-time. Instead, Kourtney openly admitted that she and Travis kept separate households, literally across the street from each other. On paper, it sounded practical. The kids already had their routines, their bedrooms, their safe spaces. Uprooting them overnight could have caused chaos, and Kourtney swore that stability for the children mattered more than outside expectations. But when fans heard it, not everyone was convinced. To them, it sounded less like practicality and more like distance disguised as convenience. The whispers got louder when Kourtney herself revealed she often co-slept, not with Travis, but with her daughter, Penelope. For many, that painted a stark picture. This wasn't a marriage built on closeness, but on compromise. Kourtney tried to downplay the doubts. On a podcast, she defended their setup, insisting everything was working beautifully. She explained that they kept strong traditions, like family dinners every Sunday at Travis's house with all the kids together. "We're in the place where we're figuring out how to blend our households," she said, framing it as thoughtful and deliberate, not a red flag. But in the court of public opinion, the optics told a different story. A couple who once couldn't keep their hands off each other now slept under different roofs. And when you pile that onto the rumors of control, exhaustion, and old wounds creeping back, the fairy tale began to look like it was falling apart at the seams. So the question became unavoidable. Was this arrangement a sign of maturity or the quiet beginning of separation? From the outside, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's romance still looked like the stuff of dreams, whirlwind love, over-the-top weddings, and a baby to complete the picture. But behind those perfect snapshots, the cracks were already spreading. But once you strip away the glossy posts and fairy tale moments, the truth looks a lot messier. Old ghosts from Travis's past, like his open confessions about Kim and his shaky history with Fidelity, left cracks in the trust that never fully healed. Add in the constant tension between Kourtney and Kim, and suddenly family dinners and red carpet appearances felt less like bonding and more like battlefields. At home, what once looked like fiery passion began to feel like control. Kourtney reshaped parts of her life to keep Travis satisfied. Her style, her routines, even her daily choices. And when they hit the road for that Australian tour, the cracks grew wider. Exhaustion, long-distance strain, and the heavy clash of two very different lifestyles. Then came the bombshell. Fans learned the couple wasn't even living under the same roof full-time. That revelation only made whispers of separation louder. So now the big question lingers. Are Kourtney and Travis simply navigating the highs and lows of a Hollywood marriage under pressure? Or are we watching the slow unraveling of a romance that burned way too bright, way too fast? Only time will reveal whether this couple finds their rhythm or ends up as yet another Kardashian love story that couldn't survive the spotlight. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Are Kourtney and Travis heading straight for a breakup, or is this just another rough patch the media has blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video with your crew, and don't forget to subscribe, because when it comes to Hollywood's most talked about couples, the drama never truly ends. See you in the next one on Hush Hush Fame.